So I'd like to talk about the conflict between Israel and Palestine. What is your opinion to that?
Okay, my opinion about it. Yes, so I think that it started after the Second World War, after the Holocaust, after the Jews being killed. So it was like the cause of maybe the UN thinking that the Jewish people need to establish a state, and the Palestinian territory by that time it was occupied by Britain, the British Kingdom. So they have maybe forced the Palestinians to leave their land and brought the Jewish people to this land and maybe supported them with fire guns and army, etc. So it has established what we call like a Jewish army. That I think that it took the land, the Palestinian land, by force, and I think that what's happening now is an occupation of the Palestinian lands. Even after the establishment of the two countries, like the Israeli country and the Palestinian country, the Israeli country didn't think that it was enough for them, so they even took other parts of the Palestinian lands, and they are now doing. They are establishing cities in the Palestinian territories illegally, so it's not their land. It's like their borders were created in 1967, and they are crossing the borders and making these new cities in the Palestinian territories, and also. There have been some war crimes that were committed and some massacres from 1948 until now. There has been a lot of massacres from the side of the Israeli army, and I think that this should stop and things should stop. The war should stop, and we really need to consider the possibility of either stopping the Israeli army from taking the territory of the Palestinian country, or have the two-state solutions, because it's highly recommended right now to stop the tension between the two sides. So yeah, this is my opinion.
Would you consider it as a conflict of religions?
Religion is taking a huge part in this, especially from the Jewish side, because they think from their Bible that it is their holy land. They are the ones who are meant to be there and needs to be the only ones and to be there from their perspective of religion. And yeah, so I think that this is what's causing the tension between the two sides. And also for Muslims, as a Muslim, when Islam started, it was like before Mecca was the destination of prayer, so the Aqsa Mosque was the destination for our praise. So for us as Muslims, it's a really important territory for us, and we take it as part of our religion. So yeah, mainly religion is the main cause of this conflict. Okay. Yeah.
Which solution would you propose for the situation of Jerusalem, for example?
For the situation of Jerusalem. Okay, so it's quite a complicated issue between both sides. So both sides want Jerusalem to be as a capital for both countries. Even if the Palestinian country doesn't exist right now, and the Israeli country does. So what I think is that it should be like an international zone that nobody should control. It should be a territory that controlled by either the UN or an alliance of other countries, and it should be declared as an abundant area or something like that, because this is like the main issue of the main cause of the issue. Jerusalem is like a holy place for both sides. So I think that both sides should give up some of their ideologies and their ways of thinking, and maybe this is how peace can be established between two sides.
شكرا جزيلا. Who is responsible for the current situation of the Palestinians, in your opinion?
Well, to design just a responsible for such a conflict is not something easy, because you are going to have to get back in history and see all the events that prevented or that caused that the Israeli came into Palestine. Because if we go back to history, we'll find that before maybe before 1930 there were no Israel in that region. So all Jewish people maybe were just somewhere in the world. Then some crisis in Europe happened, and they just gave them that little area of Palestine. You see, and it became their country. Let's just speak now or let's just focus on something that Israeli people there are let's not talk about the people, let's talk about the government. They're not just living there, but they are killing Palestinians. See, so that's something that is really unfortunate for humanity as first, and for us as Muslims, seeing our brothers or our Arabs, seeing our brothers and sisters and mothers there dying. You see, so it's something that really hurts. Now, if I am to give a responsible, I would decline the Israeli government's responsible for that, because they made the choice to do the stuff they are doing now. They made that choice that they could just, because everyone, if you come to my country and try to take half of it, of course I will fight you, because this is my country, because this is where I live, because this is something that is really important, a holy thing for me. So that's natural. I don't know what they were expecting, that the Palestinian people that would just give them that half of the country. I don't know that, but I think I would declaim them responsible as first. But what is more responsible for that is humanity. Why? Because seeing such crimes against humanity and not talking is something big. Seeing such crimes against your brother in humanity or your sister in humanity and just ignore it and do something else. If you see maybe a video of a Palestinian people get in misery, you will just switch it because you don't want to see that. But you are actually participating by keeping silent. So I think everyone is responsible, but humanity is the biggest responsible for that, because they are doing nothing about it. Yeah.
So what do you think, for instance, about attacks from the Hamas in Gaza, or maybe the Hezbollah from in Lebanon on Israel? What do you think about that? Or would you consider it as a understandable reaction?
I wouldn't go as far as that, but I want to explain something. That if you provoke me, if you come to my country and provoke me, maybe the Lebanese one are not Palestinian, but still they are brother in religion and in being Arab people. See, so if you come to me and provoke me, you can expect everything from me, and you cannot say that you are responsible for that, because it's just a reaction to what I saw. Maybe I'm the kind of person that doesn't know how to react. Maybe I'm that kind of person that my reaction is much worse than your act. You see, so they should have taken that into consideration. By talking like that, I'm not an extremist, and I'm not inviting for violence or everything. I'm the first one to be against violence. I don't agree with that. But I think it's kind of understandable. If you put yourself in their position, you will find that it's understandable. Why? Because they have been provoked, and that was their way of reaction. So, and once again, I don't see the point of just killing Israeli people, talking about citizens, because it hasn't been their mistake. They are just people trying to find a land to go to, and if their government is not giving them that peacefully, it's problem. It's not the people's problem. So I think that killing the people is a mistake, but the attacks from Hamas and Hezbollah are just a reaction to what they saw. So this is in my opinion, it goes like this.
Okay, what would you consider as a solution of this conflict? What do you think must happen to end the war in Israel and Palestine, to end the conflict?
Okay, like this is something so hard. Why? Because Israel is one of, let's say, the strongest countries, okay? So I don't think it's the kind of country that will allow a solution that will make them equal with Palestine to take place. Why? Because they want the biggest part of Palestine, which is Jerusalem. See, so where Muslims have the most holy things there, it's the mosque, Masjid al-Quds. You see, so if we want to end the conflicts, we should maybe take into consideration history, and we should get back to how things were before, because the Israeli government wasn't there at first. Maybe we can have another solution from just giving them the half of Palestine, because it's not their right. They can be integrated, they can be there, they can live there, no one is going to kick them out or something. But I don't think that, to be honest, it's so hard to find a solution for that. Because if I'm going to say that we can split Palestine into two, give a part to Israel and give a part to Palestine, that wouldn't satisfy the Palestinian. Okay, and if I say that we shouldn't give Israel a place there, that wouldn't satisfy the Israeli. So it's hard to find a solution. For me, I cannot just give a solution like that. Yeah.
Thank you. Which solution do you prefer for the role of Jerusalem in the future?
Unfortunately, I don't have a good answer for this, because, as you know, it's colonized by the Zionists, the Israel state, and Arab people are not allowed to visit Jerusalem these times. And through the history, from 1945, I guess, the Arab could not visit this Jerusalem. The only solution, it's the freedom of Palestine. For that, all Arabs could visit it in a good way. And also, even Palestinians inside the West Bank, they couldn't visit Jerusalem in this time, unfortunately.
What do you think about the role of the Arab states regarding to the Israel-Palestinian conflict?
It's a large question. This one's a very large question, and Arab states should be union, should have the same ideas about. We should to be one person, not only one country, because imagine that 22 countries sharing the same language, sharing the same ideas, sharing the same religion, they are not union. If they are union, they could do a miracle on this earth. They can make it a better place to live in. But unfortunately, this conflict between Arab, for example, between Algeria and Morocco, between Qatar and Amman and Jordani, those countries that are making conflict in Arab states. And unfortunately, we could not find a solution for ourselves. So we can't provide solutions for Palestine.
How important do you consider the role of religion in this conflict?
In this conflict, I don't consider the religion it is an issue itself, because through the history, to understand the future, we have to go back through the history. The history said that the Jewish people, Muslims, and Christians were sharing the same state, the same place. So, and Islam respects the Jewish and the Christian, also the other religions. And there is some Israeli who is Jewish, and they do support Palestinian. Why? Because all religions on earth are providing peace. So if you are talking about a religion which is Islam, and saying that Islam is look for freedom of Palestine, otherwise the Jewish no. Unfortunately not, because even Jewish, even Christian, everyone on this earth has a humanity inside himself, can provide peace for Palestine. And there are some Jewish living now in Israel, but they want the freedom to Palestine, and there is a huge difference between Zionist and Jewish, and unfortunately, as we are now and our culture, we don't know the difference, and we can't see the difference between a Zionist and the Jewish.
May I ask you one last question? Do you think that the two-state solution is the best solution for the conflict?
Personally, I'm giving you my personal opinion. Only one state is the best solution, because after the before the Balfour Treaty, it was only one state. It wasn't two states, and now it is one state. Regarding to other countries, if we are talking about in the history the Algerian state, France was talking about Algeria. It is only state. Algeria is the state of France, but it isn't. It's the same for Israel right now. They are talking as Palestine or the West Bank. It's a state from Israel, but unfortunately it's not. It's Palestine, and I'm Algerian and a Muslim. And as a human being, I consider it as the only one state, which is Palestine, is the only solution on earth.
Okay. What do you think about Zionism?
Okay, so Zionism is a movement. What they want is like to control the world. So basically, as an Algerian, as a lover of Palestine, in Algeria we grew up loving Palestine and kind of hating Israel. And Zionism are the ones who are responsible for killing Palestinians, killing kids, killing pregnant women, killing elderly people, surrounding them, torturing them. So I think they're just like the Nazis, just killing the people.
So what's about, for example, a Jew who wants to live in Israel? Would you consider him automatically as a Zionist?
No, Zionists are a bunch of people who want to kill. But a Jew isn't a killer. That's what we need to inform our people. Everyone isn't born a killer. Like, we make our choices. This is why I think we can't consider any Jew as a Zionist. We can't consider any Zionist as a Jew. Just like ISIS, you can't consider as a Muslim any Muslim as a terrorist. Just like you can't consider any terrorist as a Muslim.
So do you think that most of Algerian people think the way you do about Zionism and about Jews?
Yeah. Not all of them, but there are a few people who believe, like me, who are supporting the two-state solution, and also who are welcoming like a peaceful way to stop the war and not the violence that we are seeing every day on our TV.
So what is a peaceful way in your opinion?
My opinion, a peaceful way is negotiation, talks, and trying hard to make a solution, whether it's a one-state solution or a two-state solution. Anything but this cruelty that we're seeing every day.
What do you think about how many Algerians prefer the two-state solution about the one-state solution?
I really don't know about this, but I think they're a minority.
Okay, thank you for this.